Alright, welcome pre-calculus students. Today we're going to be looking at our fourth lesson of at-home learning, which is writing hyperbolas in standard form. So yesterday, or in the previous day's lesson, you would have seen how we can find and graph hyperbolas when looking at them in this form right here, where we have A and B, pretty obvious, and then H and K are in here with the X and Y. You were able to identify which one was vertical, which one was horizontal, based on where the negative was, or where the minus was. And so it should have been pretty straightforward there. Today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking multiplied out polynomials and rewriting them like this, or multiplied out hyperbolas and rewriting them like this. So we've seen this before with circles and ellipses. Now we're just going to be doing it with hyperbolas. The main difference to start these is we want to look for which one of the squared variables has a minus in front of it. In this case, y has the minus in front of it. So when we go to rearrange, we make sure the one without the minus goes first. But let's make sure we check everything else first. First, is there a common factor that we can divide everything by? In this case, no. Then we look for any constant that we can move to the other side. There's no constant. Now we're going to group our variables together. So because the x squared was the positive one, we have 3x squared minus 12x. That one gets grouped together. And then now we'll group the y's. So minus y squared minus 6y equals 0. Here's our setup for this hyperbola in standard form. From this point on, it looks very similar to when we did it for ellipses and circles. So we're going to start by pulling out any common factors from these groupings. So we'll pull out the 3 there. Okay, and then for this group of y's, one thing you will do every time is you're going to pull out this negative that's in front of the y squared. Or if it was an x squared, you'd pull out the negative that's in front of the x squared. So we'll have a negative and then y squared, and we would pull out a negative from negative 6y, we end up with positive 6y. Okay, now we complete the square. I don't know how before spring break your teachers went through the process of doing this, but all we do is divide the single power term by 2. So this gives us 2 here. This gives us 3. And then we square that number. So we do 2 squared, and that equals 4. And we do 3 squared, that equals 9. And this allows us to set this up as a perfect square multiplied out. Okay, now what we can do with these two will actually factor, but before we can do that, we have to make sure we balance our equation. So we added new numbers to the left side here. We have to add those same numbers over here. Let's look at what we added first to x. We had a plus 4 in the parentheses, but that's not the actual number we added because there's a 3 outside. We actually added 3 times 4, so we added 12 there, so plus 12. And then here we added a plus 9 in the parentheses, but that's not what we actually added. There's a negative 1 on the outside. So in reality, what we did is added negative 1 times 9, so negative 9. So what we end up with is 3 times x minus 2 times x minus 2, because we can factor this into a binomial squared, minus y plus 3 times y plus 3 equals, and then 0 plus 12 minus 9 just ends up giving us 3. Now we can simplify this a little bit. I'm going to need to move all this up so that we can do that. Just move it up and out of the way a little bit just to give me some more room to work on this. And so now we end up with 3, and then because this is a perfect square, x minus 2 squared minus y plus 3 squared equals 3. Now this does not look like our hyperbola equation yet. Remember, hyperbolas have equal to 1 and have denominators. So what we're going to do is we're now going to divide everything by 3. And so we're left with x minus 2 squared with nothing on the denominator because the 3's cancel out, minus y plus 3 squared over 3 equals 1. And there's our hyperbola. So a lot of extra work, or a lot of work here to rewrite this as this right here. Oh, that was bad. And from here, you can go through the process of graphing. You know, h is 2, k is negative 3. You can find a and b. You can find your c, find the center, vertices, co-vertices, all of that stuff. All right? Let's look at one more. If you want, you can go ahead and pause the video and try it yourself. Feel free to do that if you want to. Otherwise, go ahead and follow along. Okay, so let's look at this one. We have 4y squared minus 9x squared plus 8y minus 32 equals 0. So we want to start by looking for any common factors we can pull out. In this case, it looks like there are no common factors that we can worry about. So we're going to move straight to moving our coefficient or our constant. Well, minus 32 is our constant. We're going to go ahead and move that to the other side. So 4y squared minus 9x squared plus 8y. We have a minus 32 on this side. We'll add it to the other side. Equals 32. Okay? So there's our first step to rearranging. Now, because it's a hyperbola, because we have that negative in front of the 9x squared, we need to make sure we rearrange this properly. Remember, the one without the negative goes first. The one with the negative goes second. So 4y squared plus 8y minus 9x squared equals 32. And now what we notice is that 9x squared doesn't have anything with it. So it's going to be left like this the whole time we work on this problem. We're not going to add or subtract or do anything to it. The only one we're really going to worry about is this one right here. So we'll pull out our 4. And we have y squared plus 2y minus 9x squared equals 32. Now we look at the single power term and we complete the square. So divide by 2. That gives us 1. And then we square it to get 1. And so we have 4 times y squared plus 2y plus 1 minus 9x squared equals 32. And we need to balance out the equation. So we added a 1 inside the parentheses, but remember that means we actually added 4 times 1 since 4 is on the outside. Okay, so we're going to add 4 on this side. And then we're going to go ahead and simplify this. So y squared plus 2y plus 1 is the same as saying y plus 1 times y plus 1. So we have 4 times y plus 1 squared minus 9x squared. And 32 plus 4 gives us 36. Now we need to divide everything by 36 because we have to have this equal to 1, and we have to have these denominators. Okay, 4 over 36 just gives us 9, so y plus 1 squared over 9. 9 over 36 just gives us x squared over 4 equals 1. And so now we have it in standard form. Okay? So you have 2 questions like this in your homework. Make sure you go and look at them. They should be pretty quick. We also give you the option, if you want to graph, if you feel like you need more practice graphing the hyperbolas. In the solutions, it has both the standard form, or it written in standard form, and the graphs there to help you out. Okay? Y'all have a great day.